Welcome back to Sims Complete. I'm your host, Matt Sims, alongside Phil Sims. This show is brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. That's where you can get all your latest odds and check on your parlays and everything that you got for the action for college football, for pro football, everything you name it. They got the odds and margins for you. So check out FanDuel for us. We're a part of the Believe Network. Big Phil, good to see a player. We got some really fun, exciting games to talk about here. Let's start with our hometown team and the New York Giants going up against the New Orleans Saints. This football game right now, the New York Giants are favored 1.5 in this one. It's the over under is 41.5 in this one. Just so you know. So FanDuel, check those out. Big guy, your thoughts for just Jaxson Dart, start number 2. What he did well last week. What does he need to kind of sharpen up this time around, being his first game on the road?
I would say this. I think he'll have an opportunity in this game to catch the football in the shotgun, have a chance to read the defense, and make the throw from the pocket in rhythm.
Right.
We didn't see too many of that. Everything was move and throw, moved and run, which was really good. I mean, they were all, at the right time, it seemed like, too. Especially that opening drive, some of his runs, and he's kind of slick. I think you and I talked about this right before the draft. When my last time I looked at him before the draft, I go, I've undervalued his mobility.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you remember me saying that, but all of a sudden I watched it, and it's like he has this unique way. He kind of bends over a little bit, runs, and it's like I'm sneaking up on you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that I want to see that more than anything. I want to see the Giant defense be what they were last week against the Chargers. Can they do it down there? And I think the biggest thing, another big thing too, I see in this game, Kellen Moore and Spencer Rattler are kind of together now. And I love the body language and everything about Spencer Rattler playing. I don't know what you think, but he's got something in him too. He's mad as hell. This is his chance, Matt, to solidify himself as a starting quarterback for New Orleans and make the stats and all that get better and better and hold on to that job. They drafted somebody in the second round, Tyler Shuck. So Spencer Rattler, he's got a little attitude. It shows on the field. As we always say, I like to say it, he's got a little red ass in him, man, and there's nothing wrong with that. So that's just kind of my first thoughts about this game, which I'm excited to watch.
Yeah, I'm also excited too. An article came out talking about how Malik Neighbors spoke to Jalen Hyatt, just saying, "Hey, I'm out now. This is your opportunity to step up and make some plays." So I'm excited for my fellow volunteer to kind of get an extended opportunity here with Neighbors being out to go along with Wan'Dale Robinson and Slayton as well on the outside, and of course Cam Scatteraboo, and his energy that he brings is just tremendous. So I love that. I hope Jackson's just a little bit. I don't want to take away his aggressiveness, but I do want him to also be mindful of, we need you the next play, dog. It's not about just this one play. We need you the next play. We need you the whole season. We need you to build the momentum going into the rest of the season. But I think the Giants defense, hey, if you can slow down Justin Herbert and that passing attack and affect the passer the way that they did, I would expect something similar again for this defense to travel on the road to New Orleans. So despite, I agree with you, Spencer Rattler looking good and playing good and building confidence within that Kellen Moore offense, he had no surprise, a former quarterback helping out a young quarterback play well and get better every week.
Yeah.
I just still think that Brian Burns and just the rest of the defense, I think this is a good matchup that favors them well. And I think the defense should travel well in affecting the passer again. So hopefully 2 games in a row for the New York Giants. And of course, do we have to yeah, go ahead, big guy.
Yeah, I want to just say this.
Yeah.
For weeks up here, well, they got the Saints on the schedule. That's when they'll get a win for sure. What the hell do you think they're saying in New Orleans?
Yeah, right.
Well, come on, hey, man, when the Giants come to town. And, I think emotionally, can the Giants emotionally be the way they were against the Chargers this week? I don't think so. It's human nature. How can they? They feel good. And, hey, this is going to be the toughest game you ever played. That's the way you got to think about it.
Right.
And I'm sure New Orleans, they're like, hey, enough talk about how we're going to be the easy mark. We'll see how this goes. I think it's going to be physical, emotional.
Yeah.
The crowd down there in New Orleans, hell, it doesn't matter what. They lost the next 10 years. games, that crowd.
Yeah.
They can get it going, man. They can be tough. And man, I'll say this: when I played there a couple times, it was brutal. The crowd noise, it was unbelievable.
Right.
You couldn't stop it. You couldn't even call a play in the huddle hardly. It was so loud.
Yeah.
And of course, some of those linebackers, Ricky Jackson, all the guys they had a linebacker. Oh my gosh, that made it rough too. But yeah, it's a good game. I can't wait to watch it. And that's all I got to say.
Yeah, I appreciate it. We triggered a little PTSD there for Phil in New Orleans there. So it's par for the course, especially when we talk football all the time. But we're both picking Giants here, right? Is that safe to say, big guy?
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Giants. Yes.
All right, good. Just making sure you're still in our team. I just want to go. But all right, so now let's go to the Denver Broncos versus the Philadelphia Eagles. Really intriguing matchup. We got a 2-2 football team, and the Denver Broncos coming off their win against the Cincinnati Bengals. We got the Philadelphia Eagles, who are 4-0, and of course coming off of their perplexing win against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, where they were dominant in the first half and basically non-existent offensively in the second half, but just they're finding ways to win. What do you think? I mean, are we making too much about this Eagles thing, or is it like, hey, who cares? They're winning, just move on and let's keep going?
I would say maybe a little too much,
Okay.
but it to me it's bothersome too. I've had a chance to watch what they were doing on offense, how it didn't work, and let's remember, they've had a couple wins where I'm not going to say luck, but when you start winning games with special teams, it's awesome, but you got to quit focusing on just the win sometimes.
Right.
Passing attack, throwing the ball down the field. I mean, A.J. Brown, he handled everything well, kind of smoothed it out. But, man, when you got A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, you still got a good offensive line. Maybe it's not as good as last year. But, boy, they're a really good football team. Jalen Hurts is he's obsessed with not turning the ball over.
Right.
Right? I think he's arguably the most careful thrower of the ball of all the quarterbacks. And, I could be wrong for a couple, but very careful in his decision making. And, probably the only time I've seen it where I was like, wow, was the second half against Tampa. Man, Tampa's defenders were all over everything
Right.
that they were trying to do in the past game. So I can't wait to see Denver, Matt, because Denver is a fast team. And, I was trying to look it up. Let's see here just real quick. Defense, nothing great when you talk about the Philadelphia defense. Well, can you get ready for the onslaught that's coming? Not that you can't stop Denver's offense.
Yeah.
Again, against the Bengals. There they are. I'm watching it going, clever. Oh, wow, that's really – I go, man, I wish I could have just had Sean Payton for 1 year just to see what it's really like. But he does a great job. And, man, they had some concepts. Guys are going to get open down the field. Can Philly – I look at the game this way. We got a fast team against a power team. Can Philadelphia's strength and size and all that just wear Denver down? That would be my one knock against the Denver Broncos.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see just how Vance Joseph goes about attacking this Philadelphia offense, because right now this Philly offense has failed to find their rhythm offensively running the football. And then, of course, just their typical drop-back passing game seems to be maybe a little too simple. We thought the simplicity was a good thing the first 2 or 3 weeks of the season. Against Tampa Bay, it's like, okay, this simplicity maybe is a little bit too easy, even for the Tampa Bay Bucks, right? They were all over these things, and Jalen Hurts threw a few passes that were almost intercepted in that game, and that's the key word, almost. So it doesn't matter. What does Vance Joseph do with their secondary, their talented front, Nick Bonito and the boys, right, getting after him? I think that they kind of have a mixture of things that they can do and make it very difficult for the Eagles to move the football consistently. Right now, FanDuel Sportsbook has the Eagles favored 4.5 in this game. Big guy, yeah. What are your thoughts? Who would you pick in this football game?
Boy, let me just say this: Denver, they're gonna blitz this offense,
right.
And they're gonna dare them, because Denver's got the good corners, whatever. But they're gonna say, can they get open, and can they beat us one-on-one if we're blitzing and getting to the quarterback a little faster than you want? So this is a really hard game for me. I can make it up. How about this? I'll just do it. And I'm not a stats guy, you know that. But here we go. Philadelphia's offense, 30th in total yards, 16th in the run, 31st against the pass. Now, you ready for this one?
Yeah.
but 7th in scoring or scoring the football.
Right.
So the numbers don't add up, but there they are. They got the one number that counts. How many points are you scoring? The defense, there's nothing that you look at and go, wow, we got to be really concerned about this part of their defense. It's all average or below average right now.
Yeah.
So, okay, I'm going to take Denver. I
Okay.
think Denver can cover the 4.5 points. They're going to get some big plays. And I just like what Denver does on both sides of the football more than I like what Philadelphia is doing right now.
Yeah, I hear you, and it's also interesting too because Philadelphia, they've had these spurts of offensively where they can move the football, it seems like at will, and then they have these random spurts where nothing happens, right? And then they got the 2 touchdowns off of special teams plays with Jordan Davis and Sidney Brown last week against the Bucks. I'm with you though. I'm going to go with the Broncos in this one. I feel like this is where the Eagles' luck runs out just a little bit. I want to say that the Broncos come in sharp, ready to go. I think the offense for the Broncos hasn't quite clicked yet, but there's also nothing that really scares me all that much about the Philly defense in this matchup for them. So I think Bo Nix, they should be able to protect them decently well. Curious to see how they run block against them. But I want to say I'm going to favor just the Denver Bronco defense matching up well and making it tough for the Philadelphia Eagles to move the football. I'm going with the Broncos too. So any other thoughts on this one before we move on, big guy?
No, this is going to be an interesting game. We got one team that just lets it all out on both sides of the football. That's Denver.
Right.
And on the other side, we got a team that plays careful because they're the big bullies on the block.
Yeah.
And so they can be more careful and everything like that. So I'm anxious to see, like I just said, the blitzing, the coverage of this Eagles offense by Denver's defense. I think I'm going to watch that more than I would the other side because I know what we're going to see from the other side. We're going to see a lot of downfield throwing by the Denver Broncos.
Yeah. And you know what? It's interesting too. If Vance Joseph gets really aggressive and pressures a lot and plays a lot of man coverage, I actually think that helps Jalen Hurts and the rest of the receiving crew to be more dynamic. I think that's kind of like their easy get out of jail free card answer to it. I think that's what Spags did in the Super Bowl a year ago. Played a lot of man coverage, left one-on-one opportunities, made it super simple for them to just hit their one-on-ones, the goes, the slants, all that stuff. So I'll be curious to see if they kind of mix in a little bit more zone pressure throughout this football game just to get after the quarterback while still protecting the back end against a very talented receiver core.
Yeah, in Denver, just the last thing real quick. What I've noticed, mobile quarterbacks, some of the teams out there are starting to use spies, and it's working really well. And I would say it worked okay for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers against Philadelphia, but not great.
Right.
A couple of times you go, nothing open. He scrambles and gets 8 or 10 yards. And go, God, the spy person just was in the wrong spot and couldn't catch him. But Jalen Hurts is one big dude tried to bring down one-on-one too. So
yeah, that's true.
That's another thing just to watch out for.
Yeah, definitely. So now we got the New England Patriots 2-2 going against the Buffalo Bills. This is an 8:20 game, so we got it on NBC with your boy Chris Sims, and really excited about this matchup, right? Because I think the New England Patriots are a football team that are kind of on the rise. They're getting better. They've had a few moments, especially in that Pittsburgh week, where it seemed like it was there for them to have it. They probably should be a 3-1 football team right now, but hey, they're 2-2, but they are showing improvements on the offense side of the football. I think Drake May is playing some really good ball. Stephon Diggs is returning back to Buffalo for the first time in an opposing uniform. Your thoughts on just how the Patriots stack up against the Buffalo Bills going into this matchup?
Patriots can stop the run. Buffalo can't.
Done.
Come on. Buffalo's relied on the run, and when you watch it, it's like they're being so careful. Sometimes I watch them, and I've watched every one of their games pretty close, but I feel like they're trying to protect. They're worried about Josh Allen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like we're playing around the quarterback. I don't see enough opportunities for him to be as explosive as we know he can be, and they're playing a very careful style, and it's worked. They're 4-0. But, man, it doesn't get – watching those 4-0 games, I didn't come away with, oh, my gosh, they are – boy, look out. No, I think you come out with a lot of question marks. And one is stopping the run. Can you do it? Now I know another team that can stop the run. That's like I said, that's the New England Patriots. So that I'm looking at that part. This is it. Always we got the big heavy hitter almost against the one that's Muhammad Ali gonna skate around and jab you every once in a while. I don't know, but that's what I think about the game. I like New England in this game.
You do? Okay.
I don't know what
Yeah.
the spread is. What's the spread? Do you know?
Yeah, let me double check on that right now. So for this football game, the spread is the Bills are favored by 8.5 right now.
Oh yeah, I definitely like New England.
You do?
Yeah. Well, I do. Yes, I just look. Come on, we know the coaches,
Right.
Yeah. So I'm a big fan of what New England's doing, and they are a physical team. The quarterback's big, and he can move too, and he's got a good arm. And it's not Josh Allen, but he's at the next layer down. So,
Right.
yeah, I think it's going to be a good game, and I think New England has a big chance to cover, and I won't be surprised if they win.
Okay. And who are you going to pick in this football game?
I'm picking New England.
You are going with New England. All right. So you're going with New England. I'm going to go with Buffalo. I totally agree with everything you're saying about the New England Patriots and all that. I just feel like Buffalo might just kind of pull like we know how to win ugly, the experience thing, and just Josh Allen and James Cook, right? I just feel like that 1-2 combination, despite Stephon Diggs' return back to Buffalo, I think really will be kind of the difference in the game. The Buffalo Bills, I do think will be able to run the football decently well to give themselves an opportunity. And I just expect Josh Allen to just sprinkle in a little bit of his magic and make the 1 or 2 plays that they need in this football game. I think it's going to be a close football game, but I'm just going to err on the side of the veteran quarterback and the superstar running back behind that offensive line in this one.
I think Josh McDaniels, I think he is probably going to do something in that game. I think he's going to try to get the ball to Stephon Diggs as much as he can.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah, there's nothing like vengeance. I mean, even though Stephon Diggs wasn't pushed out, I mean, he wanted to get out there too.
Right.
Yeah. So, but he's in the right offense for Josh McDaniels. Josh and them were the start of let's really focus on the slot receiver.
Right.
And who was the first guy that came from Welker?
Yeah.
Came from, Miami.
Right.
And that's where it started. So Stephon Diggs, he's going to get his chance to catch quite a few balls, I think, against his Buffalo defense.
Yeah, it does seem to always happen that way when players play their former teams. They seem to do very well, and the coaching staff helping with them too.
Oh, sure.
On that mission. But all right, so now let's change gears though. Let's go with Kansas City Chiefs taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Chiefs are favored by 3. The Jacksonville Jaguars are, I think, one of the more fun football teams to watch right now so far in the NFL. 3-1 football team taking on the 2-2 Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs are, favored in this game by some experts and all that. But I got to tell you, it's this Jacksonville Jaguar defense that is really something. Trayvon Walker, we'll see. I believe he is going to play despite the fact that he got surgery on his wrist. It sounds like he is going to play in the football game this weekend. So that's important for them defensively. Aluakon, is playing some great ball too as well. Lloyd as well in the middle there for that defense. Big guy, your thoughts, like Kansas City Chiefs, Jacksonville, are the Jaguars for real? Oh. And how can they beat the Chiefs this weekend?
Man, I really like Jacksonville. This game is in Jacksonville, right?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Sure. And I just know one thing for sure. When the game is over, Andy Reid's not going to want to fight the other coach. And, Andy's going, you won. But it's I kind of like seeing it, don't you? You just coaches at each other. I mean, come on, man. That's the way this league is. It's so competitive and so damn close.
Right.
But I have really liked watching Jacksonville. There's an energy to them. There's definitely a toughness. They're great against the run, but I don't think you worry about Kansas City winning the game by running the football.
Right.
Can you get the quarterback enough? Trayvon Walker, if he can be who he is, that's going to help a lot. But if you get heat, the toughness of Jacksonville right now, their head coach, everything I think is there for them. And it shows when you watch them play.
Right.
And I'll just get to it really quick. I thought Patrick Mahomes and the Chief offense and the overall team by far had their best week last week against the Baltimore Ravens. By far. They look like the team that we saw that went to Super Bowl and won. Like they had some rhythm. They were relaxed. The plays were good. Mahomes played great. But this is kind of different here, I think, when you talk about Jacksonville. They're tough. The coach is tough. And Trevor Lawrence is playing better. I think this game will be close. I don't know what's the spread on this one, if you tell me.
Yeah, so the spread in this one is, let me just double check that I had it correctly the first time that I said it. Yeah, they're plus, why am I on the wrong week all of a sudden? Hold on, give me a second. Go ahead for a second.
Go ahead. No, yeah. Okay. No, it's I'll wait for you.
Well, no, we can't do the wait for me, big guy. All right, I lost the page of where the spread is.
All right. You know what? It doesn't matter. I know the Kansas City Chiefs are favored in it no matter what. I like Jacksonville maybe to win the game. Yeah, I think I'll take Jacksonville just to win the game straight out. But of course, whatever the spread is, I would take the points too.
So I found it. They're favored by 3. The guy goes, wait, we'll wait. We're on a podcast, big guy. There's no waiting. All right, no, I'm kidding. I'm teasing. I'm teasing.
Oh, that's all right.
I'm just teasing. So overall, though, all right, the Kansas City Chiefs are favored by 3. The Jacksonville Jaguars, I think really it goes for me just to the defense side of the football. I really think that Anthony Campanelli has his team playing some really just good old-fashioned physical football. And I was really impressed by the way that they played against San Francisco and how they were able to just kind of like make it very tough on Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy did some things that Brock Purdy typically doesn't do in a football game. And I feel like when quarterbacks do those things, it's because they can feel it, right? It's just, it's all over the place. So with Travis Etienne in the running game, with Trevor Lawrence playing really good football, right? I think with the skill group surrounding him too, I'm going to go with the Jacksonville Jaguars to get a win over the Kansas City Chiefs. And really more so just because I'm just rooting for the Jags, honestly, at this point. I just kind of want to see it, and Brandon Strange, one of the better young tight ends of the league too, playing some good football for them, run blocking and pass receiving. So Travis Etienne, Brian Thomas, Strange on the offense side of the football. I feel like they got a really good combination of things going for them offensively.
And Travis Hunter, can we see more of him? Can we get him a little more? I don't know, but not quite working out. It's only 4 games. The one thing about Jacksonville, you brought up Campanelli, which, there's about 5 brothers or somewhere. They're all doing well coaching. So
somewhere
they're not giving up a lot of points, which, shortens the game. Jacksonville's a big physical team. And I look at Kansas City and always think, especially on the defensive front, I always look at them and say they're just a big play hard team. I know they're not like Philadelphia or anything like that, but they seem to get out of their lulls and had some great energy last week, and can they carry it over down to Jacksonville, which we both agree. I'm going to take Jacksonville.
Yeah. All right. So we're both going with the Jacksonville Jaguars against the Chiefs. That is just kind of just shows you that it's a year-to-year business here in the NFL, because a year ago there was no way we'd have said something like that. And now let's go to the last game that we're going to discuss here. We got the Cleveland Browns taking on the Minnesota Vikings. And I'm pumped about this football game for many reasons, but really more so, and just so you know, too, the Minnesota Vikings are favored by 3.5 in this football game. This is the lowest over and under, I think, on the season so far, with 35.5, right, for this football game. So clearly Vegas doesn't think that there's going to be a whole lot of scoring in this one, with the Minnesota Vikings offensive line being pretty beat up. And of course, the Cleveland Browns starting rookie quarterback Dylan Gabriel out of Oregon. But man, I'm pumped to see this game. I really am. It's taking place in London, and I'm just going to go right ahead and say it, big guy. I'm going to take the Cleveland Browns and Dylan Gabriel to get his first win and his first start for many reasons. And part of it is just because I like Dylan Gabriel. I believe in Dylan. I think that he's going to make good decisions, despite the fact that he's going against one of the better defensive minds. I think Stefanski will help him protect him. I love Quinshon Judkins. We're seeing a little bit more Harold Fannin Jr., right, which is the tight end there out of Bowling Green. So he's getting a little bit more action. And Isaiah Bond. So we're seeing like this young skill group of guys for the Cleveland Browns getting involved. And I think that's why I'm kind of rooting for them too, because I want to see this next generation of Browns really kind of have one of their cool moments there across the Atlantic.
Well, I'm excited. Now I don't have to worry and sit around and write stuff and read and all that on Sunday morning. The game is on, and here we go.
Yeah.
I love it. I mean,
right.
Man, I'm going to be sitting on the couch for a long time Saturday and Sunday, but that's okay. What do I say about this game? I forgot. I had a really good point about. I think there will be an upset.
Yeah.
And I do worry about this about Dylan Gabriel. I'm
Right.
not worried about him, but the blitzing. And I know, the Minnesota's beat up and all that, but the blitzing can the Cleveland Browns control it and do a good enough job where Dylan Gabriel doesn't make the mistake. And I know he'll play careful. That's who he is.
Yeah.
Careful but aggressive. When he sees it, he lets it go. And his preseason and stuff, I thought he was really, really good in preseason. Made the right reads, threw the football with power and accuracy.
Right.
And you can get rid of it. And, we said all this about him before. And his release point, he can change his angles as good as anybody out there. So a lot of pressure on him. But I listened to an interview that he had this morning, and I was like, man, you can't hear it from him in his words or anything like that. He's confident as hell.
Yeah.
He's got that chip on his shoulder too. Oh, I'm not tall enough to be a starting quarterback in the NFL, all that. So, yeah, and the big thing is, can they handle the blitz? If they don't turn it over, you're right, it'd be a low-scoring game. And if it's low-scoring, I definitely like the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, and I think on the other side of it too, you almost have to say that same thing for Carson Wentz. Can they handle the blitz? Can they handle what's coming at them with this Cleveland Browns defense and how talented it is and how aggressively they can get after the passer with their different looks? So it really is kind of like a mirror image, right, for both teams, kind of trying to find their way, but in different aspects of it. And but still, I think that's why I favor the young guys, right? Ignorance is bliss. They don't know any better. They're just going to go out there and play, and cut it loose and have fun. And that's why I'm just going to kind of err on that side, despite it being a strange week too, for Dylan Gabriel being named the starter as they travel over to the London. So not only is it enough to just become the starter, right, and all the other drama that's surrounding the team because of other reasons, but hey, to play overseas in your first start, that's a pretty cool thing too for Dylan.
I look and I almost like single-handedly. First off, the Cleveland Browns secondary is still really good.
Yeah.
And they got this guy, Myles Garrett. I'm telling you, he's unbelievable every game. And he must get done with the game and go, wow, I must have had 7 sacks or should have. I just missed 4 of them. He really – and so going against an offensive line that's beat up, there's going to have to be extra protection to try to stop him. But – man, he's one of the top 2 or 3 defensive players in the NFL.
And this could be a football game that we discuss Jordan Mason and Quinshon Judkins as really being the 2 guys that made the difference for either team, right? And relying on their running backs, right, to do a lot of the heavy lifting with the defenses that they're playing against today. So, or this weekend. So that should be interesting.
And both teams, going just back to this, both teams to be careful on the offensive side.
Yeah.
Especially all the sacks that happened last week against Carson Wentz. So this is going to be protecting better, get rid of the football, quit keeping negative or having negative plays where we can't get out of them. So it's going to be interesting, but I do like the Cleveland Browns to win outright.
All right, so that's all we got for the NFL action this weekend. Plenty of games for us to discuss, so that's great. And FanDuel, thank you so much for supporting our show, of course, and then obviously for the odds and giving us the latest up-to-date information going into this weekend.